Hello there, this is Big Benedict. We're playing Metal Gear Rising, and this is my PC guide for for Revengeance difficulty, the highest difficulty that you can play. Although you do have to initially... Oh no, never mind. Scratch that. You can do the Konami code right off the bat if you want to, but you'll get slaughtered. But if that's the way that you get better as a player, then all for it. But this is one of those games where the difficulty is so extreme that you really need the upgrades to survive. And I have the armor breaker completely maxed out, and I will be premiering it in one small skirmish against some enemies with shields. And I just wanted to see if it breaks the game, and it does in a way, so I'm not going to be using it. But the problem with first of all, let me mention what chapter we're on. We're in file R-03, so it means we're in the 4th chapter. Although it's the third mission after the prelude, so 3 plus 1 equals 4, right? Yeah. So we have a few skirmishes out here as well. We had that battle with those cyborgs, with the police cyborgs, and then you'll get a checkpoint. And if I remember correctly, the first enemy that jumps at you in this chapter, or you know, one of the two guys that first jumps at you, they have one of the left arms. So that's the only way you're going to get the armor breakers, by severing all the left arms of 30 of the marked targets in this game. So here we have another dual grad fight. And I did want to apologize for one thing in the prelude video that I mentioned with the Metal Gear Ray. The camera, I called it atrocious, and I was listening back to that earlier, and it actually does do a pretty goddamn good job for what is taking a toll on the game and having to keep up with all the action. So I have to give it a lot of credit. I mean, it could have been even worse of an experience, but it does it pretty well, and admirably so. So the camera, obviously it's not the best, but the camera usually is the biggest problem with these action titles, like the Ninja Gaidens. And well, God of War is not a problem since it's a fixed camera, but anything with a camera usually has a problem. So that's one of your enemies when you play a game like this. But I have to say that it does keep up pretty well. And it has you using the auto lock. I mean, you can't toggle it on or off. So you kind of just get pushed to the different feet, or the legs of Metal Gear Ray. And I truly love this game now. I might even do an S-rank guide for this game. There's another hypocritical statement from me because I mentioned that I hate ranked runs. However, I love this game so much, and it's so visceral. The combat is so cutting edge that I might want to do something different with this game. But I will first cover the DLC. So, but you know, one of my New Year's resolutions was that I don't recover games except Ninja Gaiden 2. But since this is such a new game, we'll definitely be taking a closer look at it in the future, possibly. What I wanted to do after this was the DLC for The Last of Us on grounded difficulty. So that might appear on the channel next. And then we have the Order 1886 coming out. I really hope that the letterboxing doesn't ruin my experience, but hopefully they let the player choose whether they want that on and off. So I have also been just not even having the nano paste equipped. So I've been going through it pretty hardcore and not allowing myself to get a revive when I need one. I really like this right here. I like that little Easter egg that they put in the game, but it could have been more gratuitous in my opinion. And I will not be rescuing any more hostages, and I'll tell the reason why when I get to the next hostage. He's coming up pretty soon. Each of these vending machines with the soda, they give you electrolyte packs, one each, which makes sense because sports drinks usually have electrolytes in them. So we'll get that, and then we'll have So, oh, another thing about the blade, I think I was trying to mention it right at the beginning of the video. I thought that I didn't think it was such of a finalized process when you upgraded your weapon, because what I was thinking of, and excuse me while I talk over a couple of these fights, all of these weapons you can hold down the X button and do an ultimate technique, and it does a charge. But I guess it wouldn't be an ultimate technique, that's really an essence technique, but since there's no essence in this game, except the essence of this character, who I have no idea. I know he's from the Metal Gear universe, but I honestly thought that they would let you de-equip the weapons, all of the upgrades that you apply, whether it's the strength, the absorption, or the energy. I assume that when I was doing the upgrades that I would be able to unapply those upgrades, so if I wanted to downgrade my sword, I could. Just the same way that you can equip and unequip skills in this game. Any skill you have, you can equip it, and if you don't want it, you can unequip it. So this game is outstanding in that respect, because I personally feel that the next God of War that comes out, they have to have every move needs to be toggleable. And I even tweeted that to Corey Barlog, but it doesn't look like he's very active in Twitter, so at least I spoke up for everybody, so I did my part, and hopefully he'll see it and we'll get a response. And then this section here, I do have the armor breaker on. There is actually, to the left, if you start out in this hall, over to the left and around the corner, there's a man in a box, whom you can, I think there's 4 of those in the game, or 8, I'm not sure. But I am using the armor breaker, and it does pretty much break the game, fully upgraded with Ripper mode, so I just won't be using it. We already have quite an advantage with the Muramasa blade, but I'm telling you, you guys, getting hit in this game, it's you think you get damaged in other games heavily, but this game is really out of this world. So we'll come down here. I've skipped out all of this so that you don't have to endure the elevator ride. Now we're going to go on this crane, and I've fallen off this crane many times, so that's why I'm not going to do the ninja run on it until I get to the very end. And then we'll come down here. There are several secret battles over here. Yeah, this happens a couple of times. And then we'll have this cyborg here. We'll have some sliders. And also, one of the reasons why I want to do an S rank is because there's a lot of secret battles, and it's one of those things where I would really enjoy playing this campaign again and finding all the little secrets, which I already did. I used a 100% completion guide when I was doing my first run, so that I wouldn't have to do 2 runs before I started my guide, so that I could find everything in the first run, and then this would be my second run with everything already found. So over those 2 pipes right there, there's a VR mission. If anybody knows how you unlock VR missions 6 and 7, please let me know, because I found all of the ones in the game, and I'm just talking about the tutorial ones. They don't let me play those ones. It's really frustrating. So now we're going to come over here. This is a so-so level for me. I don't. Over to the left is a secret battle, and I am going to speak about. I hope these guys are called hammerheads. 1 hit and you're dead by these guys. That's what I've experienced over here, and you can't parry their attacks. One of the other things that I've noticed, I've replayed a couple of levels on the hardest difficulty. 1 second here. Just calling me. No, I don't need it. It's all good. My brother was trying to tell me something right there, but I was replaying R-07, and that chapter that I wanted to stealth, it has a bunch of sliders on it now, so I think some of the achievements and things that they want you to do are best done on easier difficulties. So I just don't know how it would be possible to stealth with a bunch of sliders around whom you can't stealth kill. So I don't think it's possible on Revengeance difficulty because the enemies are different. And also in the previous video, I was calling Fenrir's, or excuse me, I was calling what I think are called raptors. I was calling them Fenrir's, so I apologize. I might have misspoken there and called them the wrong thing. So there's the Chun-Li kick right there. Pretty good move, but you can't get out of it until it ends, so it's a matter of vulnerability. And then we're going to come up here. And I'm going to avoid this citizen here. And, oh no, not him yet. I'm going to speed this up because you can stealth these guys. There's 2 enemies up here. And if I'm not mistaken, this is another secret battle where if you don't stealth kill them, you can do another, like a helicopter battle over here. But you can't ninja kill them. So, this is not a run where we're doing all that anyway. So, I am really disappointed. I was thinking about this, and you know, with all the diversity in this game, and also considering its short campaign, you know, why they couldn't have put in different things here and there. Like, why is the citizen always the same guy? And first of all, why is it a guy in the first place? And next, if you're going to be cutting off the clothes of a person, why isn't a woman? Isn't it a woman whose clothes you're cutting off? Which would be really fun in a game like this because it's a man's game. You know, women. I don't think women are going to play this game. Maybe like 2%. You know, pardon my ignorance, but I don't know. All of the people I know are men who play this game. It's just men. So why don't they just put women in here, whom you can rescue and then take off their clothes? You know. So I'm really disappointed, and I'm not joking. I'm really mad. And just, I'm mad, first of all, that it's the same guy every fucking time. And I'm also mad that it's not a woman, whereas, you know, why would I want to cut off a man's clothes? So, the next part's actually pretty trashy. We're going to be going in the sewers and stealthing a lot of mastiffs. And I just hate any part where it's all darkness. It's hard to see anything. So we're going to come up here, and then the Blade Wolf is going to give us some instructions. Alright, we're going to make our way into this next area here. And I really, really detest this area because, well, I don't mind the darkness. I don't. Because if you activate the AR mode, then it's not dark anymore. You can see perfectly well. But this game deactivates the AR mode when you take a slash, when you do the ninja run, possibly when you drop into the box, but I don't think... I think that if you already have the AR mode on and you drop into the box, I don't think that deactivates it. But I don't think I've fought these guys yet, and we will do some fighting down here, because one of them did see me, not this one here. These guys are very problematic. What they do is they jump off of the walls and onto you, and it doesn't even seem like you can prevent that sometimes from happening. So the main problem here is that there is sometimes what this difficulty does is that they just put more enemies. If they don't alter what enemy arrangement they already had in the first place, they just put another one, which I don't mind. But here I'm using the 3D photo frame to distract this guy with some pornography, because chimps like pornography. And I don't think he would take the bait. And one of the main issues I think for me was simply that, see, even throwing it deactivates it. It's just too many things deactivate the AR mode. And I just really wish it was more like the Batman games. Well, that was a bad throw right there, but I wasted a bunch of those pornographic statues, and that irritated me. So at this point, I was trying to switch into the box, but I had that on, so I decided to just fight this guy. So that right there is a grab that you cannot parry, so what you're going to need to do is do the offensive defensive, and we got him down pretty quickly. You want to look for, like I've been saying, for any red glints that these enemies do. So it's kind of the opposite of if you've ever played Heavenly Sword, which is, I kind of enjoyed it when I was playing it, but it's got too convoluted of a combat system. But in that game, you can only parry orange attacks, and when red attacks were done, you couldn't parry those, and the enemies would alternate those so constantly that it was really difficult to have the proper amount of reflexes. Although I have beat that game on hell mode. It just it's a game basically where it's like God of War, but you cannot jump. So that's my main grievance with that game. What else did I want to say about this game? Something else was on my mind about this game that I wanted to talk about. When I said no loading times in the previous video, I mean that when you die or when you restart, it's like less than a second, which I can't count as a loading screen. This might be one of the human geckos, but I don't think it is. I think the human gecko is at the end of the next section up here, although it's hard for me to point out where anything is in all this darkness. But he's at the end of this train tracks. We need to go over to the left, but past him right there, I believe that's where the human gecko is. I haven't killed all the human geckos, but I think I'm going to end up fighting... No, I don't end up fighting this guy. So what we have here is we got some more of the little shits, and also we have some more of the these cyborgs here. And we've got 2 more up on the platform that I'm just going to... Okay, so we have a checkpoint right there. I'm going to take this guy out. I think when I was playing this, I thought to myself, how am I going to get better as a player if I'm doing stealth a lot? And that is a valid thought process. And the thing is, just do both. Do stealth as much as you want to and enjoy it. But just remember, you're not going to be able to do stealth every section, and you're going to have to fight at some point. So just alternate as best you can. So, you know, if you're a really good stealth player, you're not going to be able to do every situation via stealth. But you can do a lot of them stealthily, for sure. But just remember, you're going to have to hold your own eventually against onslaughts of enemies. So these enemies, they go down very quickly, and I will admit it. I mean, I do have a weapon that is powerful. I don't think it's overpowered based on what we're doing here. Because if you saw all the deaths of mine, you would quickly... I mean, a lot of people know. It's like 1 or 2 hits and you're dead. So we're coming out here now. We have a checkpoint. We have a grad on the overpass who will stay up there until you hit the pillars that are holding that overpass up. We've got this guy here with the baton. We've got one of these heavily armored enemies. So really fast paced. That thrust right there, it's towards the enemy, back, and then X. So this game, it's just like the Devil May Cry games, where if it ever says like up or forward, it means you have to take that in relation to where his like which way he's facing. So if he's facing towards the screen, you're gonna have to press down actually, which is up from the character's perspective, like forward. And that was kind of tricky for me to learn when I was originally starting to play those Devil May Cry games. Okay, so that is a parryable attack, but what happened was I didn't... what does happen there? I'm trying to think. I believe it's just a failed... I guess you don't... the timing is just not right for it, and you fail it, and they're essentially saying you did well enough to block it, to perfect guard it, but your timing was not precise enough so that we're going to give you the parry. I believe that's what's going on there. And right here, perfectly stealthable section. Stealthable, I doubt that's a word, but I doubt parryable is a word either. But one of these, like this situation here, it just, some situations, they're just not very fun to stealth. So I'd rather just do the confrontations. So I really do not like these guys with the vests, those black vests. It doesn't really seem like you can really fight them too much. Now here is a heavy swinger right here. We might have 2 of these guys. Just remember, the defensive offensive is the way to get out of the way. See, you get a good amount of iframes for that move, and what I was thinking about was on the tip of my tongue a moment ago when I said I needed to think about something else to talk about that I had on my mind. What is it? That move reminds me of the Killer Bee from DMC3. I am very much looking forward to playing the remastered version of DMC and Devil May Cry 4. So expect possibly the Left Behind DLC on Grounded from this channel, and then the Order 1886. I'll still play it even if the letterboxing bothers me. And then we'll have some Ninja Gaiden content, Ninja Gaiden 2 content later in the year. I don't think I'll ever play Vanquish again. Sorry, Timmy Gunn. That guy really wants another one of those guides. But I think if I ever started, I think I've said this a couple of times, I don't just want to start on the final, those final bogeys again. I want to go through the game again and learn how to be a better player at that game. But I think it's a done deal at this point. I just don't want to play it anymore. I just want to play new games. So what else was I going to play? Oh yeah, so at this point, to hell with the stealth. Oh yeah, I do think, well, this isn't what I was trying to remember, but I think when you activate the Ripper mode, I think it should be a way to, just like in the Devil May Cry games, where you get iframes, and that can get you out of getting stun locked from supreme combos from enemies. You know, just like what I was talking about in video 1, where you just can't get out. Maybe video 2, where you're getting comboed so much, and there's nothing you can do to get out of the combo. So I think that activating the Ripper mode would be a good thing to do, but you don't have that luxury in this game. It doesn't give you iframes. It slows things down, but I don't think you can get out of combos with it. I've never been able to. But whatever was on my mind, and that's eluding me right now, I'll remember it the second I stop the video recording. That's all I know. That's what always happens. But that move right there, it really looks like they stole that out of Street Fighter 2 with the Chun-Li kick. So we're coming up on the Monsoon boss battle pretty soon. Raiden has a breakdown up ahead. And this is weird because there's another level that's exactly a copy and pasted level of this, but you're going the opposite way. And for a game that it doesn't have very many levels to begin with, for them to pull that kind of stunt is pretty low in my opinion. So here's me moving the wrong way on the analog stick, and we're going to push forward, and we're going to have a couple of engagements, and then we'll do that boss fight. Alright guys, we're coming up to the final real battle of this chapter. We have a situation here where you can see the subtitles where the inner workings of these enemies' minds are playing on Raiden's conscience. And I have taken the I decided to take the voices off, so that every time I keep dying, I don't have to hear them scream for Raiden to get back to how strong he's supposed to be, things like that. But let's just talk about the Monsoon boss fight. The next fight after this is a ranked fight, and it causes a lot of people problems because you're pretty much handicapped over here, and you have to do it no damage, I understand, or I'm led to believe. So I'm just going to speed this up, and then we'll talk about Monsoon. I'm going to have the pincer equipped as my unique weapon, so I'll have that on the Y button and the Muramasa blade on the X button. So the first thing you want to do, because this fight's going to start right over here, it took me a couple of hours to get a fight that I actually was proud of. This is just scripted right here. So I think the best thing to do, I've tried to do like the drive move, which is forward, Y. I'm talking about the drive in Devil May Cry games. But I just found that this was better, just to jump. And I was doing the Killer Bee with the blade, but the pincer attack does massive damage. So what we're going to be doing, if I were you, I would always be holding the right bumper to manually lock on him, because what that does is that your view will switch immediately right to him, wherever he is, so that you can be on top of him. Now, you don't need EMPs, because you can parry his attacks, but it's a lot easier to just toss the EMPs, and every piece of machinery that you take down here, you will get EMPs or health. I did not expect to receive either on this difficulty, but they're very liberal about giving you what you need. So when he comes down here, he's going to be like kind of ethereal now, and kind of, I can't describe it, but he's not whole. So what you want to do is toss an EMP. And did I fail that? I think sometimes I fail. And then what I do is wow, can I talk? I do a running slide, and then I do a charged pincer attack, which is just to hold down the Y button. And it does massive damage. And then also just to jump in the air and hold the Y button down. That also does massive damage. Now, this next phase 2, he's going to be throwing more things at you. So just realize that. And realize that if I ever get hit here, it's because left is right and right is left for me, and I hate it, but I have to deal with it because I have my x-axis inverted. I'm not making any excuses, I'm just telling you that it's hard to deal with these situations. So when he comes down here now, he's going to be ethereal again, for lack of a better word to describe what he does. It's only when he does his size that he's particularly dangerous, and you can get stun locked until tomorrow. But I have a real bad problem with these, because it's on a very strict timer. You don't get to use the Ripper mode until after this fight. So I would be doing this. This takes off massive damage, as you can see here. Okay, so at this point here... Oh, no, I'm sorry. The only time he does the size is when he... right after he does the Lawrence... gravitas attack or something like that. But just keep chopping away at these, and anytime you see the little square coming out of the machinery, you can know that you need to stop cutting it. I have my Zan Decky or Zan High on full, so that all the parts, they don't disintegrate as fast, so that they stay in the physical world as much as possible. I tried to lower it, but then it lowered my quality settings, so I kind of have to deal with that. I know it's complicated, but if you look on the PC, you'll see what those two options are. The one thing I do like about the blade mode is that at least it clicks for you. It has a little beep when you have it in the square, so that's helpful, at least. But all you want to be doing is holding the lock on, and whenever he does an attack, push in his direction and the X button, because you can't parry. Which ones? I don't think you can parry his attacks, excuse me. So what you need to be doing is just blocking. And in this game, blocking is towards the enemy and X. So that does your block. Now, these are actually pretty difficult to dodge, but it's after this that he goes into like the lobby, like we're pretty close to the building that we'll go in the next chapter, and they're going to start you off pretty far away from him. So what you want to be doing is perfect guarding the size as he throws them at you. Because if you get caught in these, watch, I probably will get caught in them, but here I'm perfect guarding them. And then when he stops, that's your opportunity to quickly toss an EMP. But as you can see, I'm getting stun locked very badly over here. But the basic premise here is when he's tossing the size, just perfect guard them, fling them, just cut them out of the... Look at this shit. Like, why does it drift like that? It's so fucking stupid. What is with this fucking drifting? Drifting. I didn't do that. It's trying to compensate for it. It's like, oh man, it's so fucking stupid. But somehow I managed to get that off. But what I was saying about that premise is that just hit the size. I don't know if they get flung back or if they just fall to the ground, but hit those by perfect guarding them, forward and X, or towards them and X. And then once he's done with that, then you can toss the EMPs. Like, when he's tossing the size, if you try to throw an EMP, you'll get stun locked, and you might get like 4 of the nano pastes taken off of your inventory because he's just going to kill you repeatedly. So I did pretty well here. It's not perfect, but it's far better than what I usually do here, and I was satisfied with it. We're going to have to fight this guy again later in the game, and there's nothing I hate more than that, recycling bosses. This game already has, you know, few enough bosses, but... Okay, so now when he comes down here, he's not going to be doing the size anymore, but he is going to be doing this so we can take him down. So what I do is a sliding attack, like I mentioned, or just a charge, get a basic charge going. Recovery time after that pincer attack is very animation heavy, so if you can get some of these going, you'll be in good shape. Okay, so he spends the majority of the time doing this, and it's sort of a blessing, although it's I really do not like half of the battle or 3/4 of the battle consumed by, you know, him just prolonging the battle by doing this. It's completely unnecessary. I don't think he does it in the next encounter. So he's almost dead. Just remember that, you know, look at all this stuff that he's throwing at us. Just make sure that you cut everything down before it hits the floor. If it hits the floor, it's going to explode, like I think right there. I'm just trying to adjust in all this chaos. And there we go. Running slide into the charged pincer. And if you don't get stun locked, you can jump and hold the Y button. So that is the end of the fight. You'll get a checkpoint over here. Oh no, he's still throwing this shit? Wow. Wow. And sometimes you will get pushed. See the push right there by my character? I don't know what I'm getting stunned by. I have no idea what it is. Maybe this arena is a lot smaller than I thought it was, and wherever it's colliding, it's actually stunning me. Okay, so when you get him down to 10% health, he's going to do this, and you will get a checkpoint. And that's been this chapter, guys. It's been R-03, and then I will see you in R-04. It's one of my favorite chapters, for sure. So just do the ninja run here, forward plus right trigger, and then just do the YB quick time event, and then you'll be able to use the Zandatsu to cut his head off like he deserves. So thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you in the next file. Take care.
Get